I want to do a collaboration with all of you, the real Power Rangers fans, the ones who like to watch the series and also the movies. This is the first time we are going to make a video like this, and it is that we are going to put together a participatory video where you are going to be part of a following video. I am not going to publish the video after this video because I must edit everything first and that takes a lot of time, but here are the instructions. Since the franchise will have a reboot, I think Power Rangers can improve a lot of things, and the best way to do it is to listen to the fans. We know that not all ideas are good, but we fans are people who have seen the product so many times that we already know the things that can be improved and the things that make a product terrible. This doesn't mean that all fans have the absolute truth, as we will never agree on everything, but there are certain details that basically almost all of us will agree on. What I ask you to do is to make a list of 7 important things that the series must improve in order for the reboot to be a success, but remembering the points that have already been confirmed. The confirmed points are the following: the series is going to be for adults, it is going to start from scratch, it is not going to have any connection with the universe we know, and it is going to have a different team. Another thing they have confirmed is that everything is going to be connected, so the movies and the series are going to have a connected story. With these points clarified, you can write the 7 things that should be improved in Power Rangers to make the franchise a success. The 7 things you write should be a short text since it's a lot of comments, and if you write too much then I'm not going to read them. The best ideas I will be reading them in another video next week, and this is why you must write well so I can understand you. In this video, I am going to give my 7 things that I think Power Rangers can improve so you can have some ideas and maybe you can add something else. The first thing that Power Rangers can improve are the costumes, and as we talked about in a previous video, costumes are something very important for a superhero. For some reason, Power Rangers has never had high-end costumes, and I don't want to be misunderstood as I have always liked the Rangers costumes. Despite this, the costumes look very plain, and obviously, this is because Power Rangers is a product for kids. Since Power Rangers is going to be aimed for an adult audience, then they should start changing the costumes to be more serious and make the Rangers look like real superheroes. We have already shown many examples of designs that some artists have done, and with this, you can notice that the Power Rangers can look like ultra-powerful superheroes. The second thing that can be improved is the Zords, and that is that for years we have had many different special effects to get those Zords in battle. When Power Rangers started, the Zords were made in miniature so they could be filmed, and that's why there aren't as many separate Zord battles. The Megazords were stuntmen dressed in robot costumes in order to film each battle, and obviously, we didn't care about that when we were kids. If the reboot is going to be for adults, then I would hope we get to see Zords with the quality of the Transformers movies, or at least with a much better quality than we have seen for years. The third thing you can improve is the lighting, and maybe many don't understand this point because they don't know about it. I am a graphic designer and a professional photographer, so I can tell you that light is one of the most important things in any production because it will change the mood and emotion of the story. That's why horror movies are almost always at night and almost always have dull colors. Comedy movies are the opposite, as they have a lot of light, and all their colors are bright so that the mood of the viewer is cheerful. Because Power Rangers has always been for kids, the lighting has almost always been quite bright most of the time, and only at the base of the villains everything has been darker. They do this so that kids aren't so scared and can watch the series. Even when Lord Zed first came in, they had to change it because it was too dark, and kids were too scared of him. I think the lighting in the 2017 movie was pretty good, and it would be excellent to have something like this in the theme of light and colors. On number 4 we can say that Power Rangers can improve the villains as they have always been monsters created in rubber suits, and we adults already realize this. Obviously, we haven't minded since we know this is a children's show and we've gotten used to this kind of thing. If they are going to create a dark series, then they should have scary monsters and make their bodies look real. They could also have human villains, and they don't always have to be space monsters. In movies there are many spectacular villains, and some of them are simple humans who manage to create a perfect plan to defeat the heroes. All of this goes hand in hand with the next thing they can improve on. Thing number 5 is to eliminate all the silly comedy, especially the comedy about the villains. The comedy in the villains has a fine line between ridiculous and spectacular. One of the villains who had good comedy as it made him look unhinged was Ivan Ooze, and that is because his sense of humor was very similar to the Joker. This kind of comedy is very hard to pull off as it can make the villain look ridiculous or crazy, so the acting must be perfect for the right effect to be achieved. The number 6 thing they can improve on is the darkness in the story, because when we see that a hero can die, then the story gets more serious and the tension builds. We have seen this in movies like Infinity War and Endgame, where we saw several heroes die and we had a lot of respect for the villain. Precisely, this is what should happen in the new stories. We even saw something similar in the 2017 movie when Rita took the life of the Blue Ranger, and this caused us to take that villain very seriously. I might even say that if it wasn't for the silly comedy that Rita had, this new villain would have become one of the best in the franchise quickly, but the silly jokes hurt the character. Dark stories have a lot of potential in superhero productions, and that is that in order to turn a person into a true superhero, there must be real problems that threaten the life of the planet. Lastly, the number 7 thing they can improve on is the theming of each team, as there have been so many teams that many themes are the same or similar. Dinosaur themes, space, ninjas, and wild animals are themes that have been repeated. We know these themes are spectacular and that's why they repeat them, but I think there are many things in the world to be able to create a new theme. I would create rangers that can control different elements of nature, like water for the Blue Ranger, fire for the Red Ranger, air for the White Ranger, lightning for the Yellow Ranger, earth for the Green Ranger, and the 6th Ranger in black that can control a little bit of all those elements. Write in the comments your 7 things that the reboot should improve. Like this video and subscribe to continue improving Power Rangers.